Washington, D.C.-based lawyer and legal analyst Ankush Khardori is joining me live from Virginia this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. You know, the FBI director, Chris Wray, there was some love lost between he and the former president. He was named in a book as the worst member of former President Trump's administration. He replaced Comey in 2017. What kind of documents are agents were they looking for to justify a raid like this?
So most likely, it would have been classified information that they have concerns about. There are a couple of statutes that are sort of immediately relevant here. One prohibits the retention of classified information after you leave the government, or it's sort of the improper removal. And another prohibits the sort of destruction and mutilation of documents. And the latter has sort of been in the news recently because of the reporting about Trump sort of flushing documents down the toilet. But I would think to justify an action as significant as this, and it's really historic, that the government would have been looking for something that they're extremely concerned about.
And extreme concern, I mean, you just have to wonder what in the world that means. But would we expect Attorney General Garland to make a statement today?
I wouldn't expect that, just given the posture that they've adopted, you know, concerning Trump and maintaining a very tight lid over information. And I know that a lot of Republicans and perhaps even Trump himself are going to be clamoring for the Justice Department to offer some insight into what happened. I would be surprised if the Justice Department did it. And nor, frankly, is anyone who's a potential subject of a criminal investigation entitled to any insight into why the Justice Department is looking into them. 3
of the former president's attorneys were actually present during the raid while he was in Manhattan. What do you believe that his attorneys would be doing today?
So, you know, the attorneys being present makes a lot of sense. It happens when federal authorities are executing a search warrant, lawyers get called, and they don't really have much of a role to play except to observe. Now, today, I would imagine they're going to be sort of furiously trying to amp up the political complaints around all this we're well into that process as of last night. And potentially trying to engage further with the Justice Department about whatever concerns precipitated the search. And you know, in a case like this, I mean, the name of the game is trying to persuade, you know, the government, if your client is in their crosshairs, that, you know, your client did nothing wrong. Now, we don't know if Trump is a target of the investigation yet, but, you know, when the federal authorities are on your property, you should be worried.
And what exactly would the Justice Department or FBI have to do to prove the need for a search warrant like this at a former president's home, nonetheless?
So the ordinary rules, you know, legally vis-a-vis the courts would apply, right? So a federal agent has to swear out an affidavit informing the court or, you know, presenting to the court facts sufficient to justify probable cause that a crime has been committed and that evidence of that crime is on the premises that will be searched. A magistrate judge then has to review that application and reach an independent conclusion as to whether the government has established probable cause. That's the legal side of it. Internally, before you even get to that, you would expect that this would have been briefed up to the highest levels of the FBI, including Director Wray, and the DOJ, including Attorney General Garland and Deputy Attorney General Monaco.
And obviously, there are some people who think that they know that the writing's on the wall, that this is clearly a sign of a reckoning for the former president. But it's not quite so swift, and we can't jump to conclusions. We have to wait for more information, I would imagine.
That's absolutely the correct posture to adopt here. You know, we've had, at this point, kind of 5 years, right, of active investigations, you know, both criminal and political, conducted by Congress. There's always, you know, a big sort of to-do around significant developments. This is unquestionably significant, but, you know, historically, the people who have been sort of predicting Trump's sort of imminent legal demise have not really been borne out by events. So it's always good to maintain sort of a baseline level of some caution and sort of humility.
All right, Ankush Khardori, being humble. How novel. We should all adopt that principle. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.